Hi, I'm Peter Vella, and this is Chandler Terrell, my rugby captain. So, Chandler, do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Okay,
Pretty fast.
uh, why?
Um, I don't know. I was a cradle Catholic, so I was born Catholic, and I've just been brought up in the church. And it's just kind of like part of my culture and just something I've always known and done, and something that I enjoy being part of the church. So that's probably why.
Okay, have you ever struggled to believe in God?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know, like sophomore year especially was hard for me because just I don't know, there's a lot of work and a lot of just like extra extracurriculars that just made it like, kind of hard to find like a lot of positive light and things for me that year. So I just kind of I struggled finding God and kind of everything that I was doing.
Okay, when have you ever felt closest to God?
I think my closest experience with God was probably actually at a mass in the RLC up in Atlanta. Um, Father Bravo was uh, giving his homily and it was talking about I think Isaiah looking for like all these like experiences of God and like really big moments like an eruption of like a volcano or like a fire and stuff like that. And I just kind of like I don't know. I've had like a really big moment like people like an experience that made me like go oh I believe in God or oh I don't. But I think at the end of that homily, Isaiah finds God in a whisper rather than all the big events that he's trying to find God in. And I think that was just kind of like a big revelation to me that I don't have to find like God in a huge moment or something like that. It was in that small moment, in that whisper from Father Bravo was when I found God, and that was kind of my big moment.
So do you think, I mean, so do you think that was, like after that moment, that's probably been like a changing point in believing in God ever since then, or?
I mean, I've always believed in God
I mean, did you
before
feel
that
like
moment.
closest, or ever since then? Like, have you ever, like,
Yeah, no, definitely closer. And yeah, it's my closest moment, and definitely has been in growing in my faith since then. Especially since that was in preparation for a freshman retreat, so it was a really good like kickoff to a big spiritual part of my year.
okay. Okay, what church do you belong to?
I belong to St. John Vianney Catholic Church.
How long have you been going there?
I think I was baptized in that church, so 18 years now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you remember your being baptized?
No, I was
Probably,
really young, so I mean,
yeah. What about confession?
I do remember my first confession. What do you want me to
Like,
say?
did that mean a lot to you, or was it kind of like a dry experience?
Okay, so I mean, I had first confession or reconciliation in second grade, I think, or maybe third grade is when they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I do remember it being an important part of my faith. Uh, Quite what I was supposed to, like what I was supposed to bring to that moment of confession, or that experience. I wasn't quite sure like how to be prepared, or what to get out of it at that moment. But I did know that was like kind of a big step in like the Catholic faith, and so it was important in that way.
Do you go to confession regularly, or?
No, I mean I don't avoid confession, but I don't push myself to do it on a very regular basis. But when I have the opportunity, especially at school, I always go.
Okay. Well, speaking of school, um, do you think do you think being at Strake has really like affected your religious life?
It definitely. I went to public school all the way up until straight,
So did I.
and
Yeah.
so there wasn't any like religious influence. There wasn't prayer at the beginning of class or the exam, and so it wasn't really something that was forced on me, except for mass every Sunday, especially if we ever went to mass on occasion at that time. So straight Jesuit, just like having a regular mass and regular prayer has in a good way, forced me to grow in spiritual life.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people can see it in a bad light, but
Yeah.
you can take the opportunity, or you don't have to take the opportunity, and I have, and it's helped a lot.
Right. So what about with like rugby? Do you think it can apply to that, or do you think it's helped you in any possible way?
I mean, without being too religious, I think it has, and I'm not saying like a direct, you know, I pray every single night before the game. I do, in class when we give for like intentions up. I will pray that for the safety and success of the rugby team.
Mm-hmm.
But really, the main way is like just increasing yourself in spirituality has just kind of increased my kindness and molded my leadership into I don't know, like a more likable form, I guess, like amongst like
Mm-hmm.
players and friends, and so that has shaped that leadership into one that's like, I don't know, it's like a more positive energy, I feel, and that's probably the best way to relate it in that way.
Okay. What about your parents? Do you think they really had an impact on you as a child?
Not really. I mean, my mom's Catholic, and that whole side of her family's Catholic, but my dad definitely wasn't. And so, although we're regular churchgoers and they get us to go, we're not we're not like perfect. I mean, none of the families are perfect necessarily, but I mean we're more towards the seasonal holiday Catholics than we are regular goers,
Right.
and so they've had enough impact to get me involved, but not enough to where I attribute my spirituality towards my parents.
Okay. So, do you ever have you ever been a part of anything going on in your church, wise? Not just going, but
Like
um,
outside of mass.
yeah, like a youth group or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that.
Well, of course, it's required to do 2 years of confirmation classes at the church, which I've already done and I've been confirmed. But I really enjoyed the program and the people there, and so I stayed for another year and a half as a leader for confirmation groups of the next group of guys and girls on their way to being confirmed. So that's one way I've been involved outside mass.
So what about confirmation? You think that had a really good impact on you, or?
Yeah, definitely. Confirmation was probably like the most important part of my spiritual process up until now, because since I'm older, I kind of know what it means to reflect, and I know which things are important to me, and so having a more mature and a process that's just as rigorous, I guess, as any other process to go through, it helped a lot in developing who I am spiritually and just, I guess, like non-spiritually, because it provided a lot of time for me to, like I already said, reflect and learn things, but at a way more mature point in my life to where it means more, I guess.
Right.
I'm not sure if that
Right.
comes across totally clear, but
Right. No,
it
it
means
does.
more to
It
me
does.
just because I'm older and I understand it more.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Chandler.
Yeah, no problem.